What is going on, good people of YouTube? I'm ImJslay. Thank you so much for joining me, and wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day. Today we're playing some Madden 21, but before we get into it, if you enjoy the content, leave a like rating, and if you'd like to see more, hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on to stay updated with all of my uploads. If you missed our previous video, I'll leave a link in the description of this video for you to go check it out. But in it, I discuss who I feel at this moment in time are the top 3 budget safeties in Ultimate Team. Be sure to go check that video out. So recently I had a comment on one of my videos from John Madden. Now, when John Madden comments on your video, you better listen, you better respond, and I actually had the idea to go ahead and make this comment into a full video discussing whether or not Brawler or Sprinter is the better physical chemistry. Now, before we get into it, I want to know from you in the comment section down below. Let's outplay the YouTube algorithm and let me know in the comment section what your favorite chemistry is in Madden 21. I'd love to hear from you. But let's go ahead and discuss what I feel is the better of the chemistries here, and in doing so, we need to actually figure out what Sprinter and what Brawler actually does. So if you are unaware, on every player that is an 80 or higher, you can put a physical chemistry in their physical chemistry slot if they're powered up high enough that is going to boost certain attributes. One of them is Sprinter. So let's actually take a look. I've got 40 Sprinters maxed out completely. When you get all the way up to tier 4, you're going to get the added benefit of +2 acceleration, +1 jumping, +2 speed. These do come at a detriment of -2 strength, -2 agility, and -2 change of direction. Brawler, on the other hand, benefits you in similar but different ways. You do see an increase in speed, similar to what you see with Sprinter, right? You do get, once you have all 4, you can see I'm not quite yet there. I only have 15 total right now. But if I was to have 40, I would benefit from +2 strength and +2 speed. These would come at a cost of -2 acceleration, -1 agility, -1 jumping, and -1 change of direction, right? So while the speed and the strength are being boosted by this one chemistry, some other factors are being negated, and some attributes that I wouldn't necessarily want to be negated when I run them on my wide receivers, my running backs, just to name a few, right? So, when you actually break down what this physical chemistry does to your players, you want to be strategic in who you actually put this physical chemistry on, right? For example, I would be better suited in putting my Brawler chemistries on my offensive and defensive linemen, my outside edge rushers. They're not going to be as affected by the -2 acceleration drawback that you're going to get for having Sprinters, but by the same token, they're benefiting in +1 or +2 strength, to whereas with Sprinter, they're actually going to be negated. They're going to get -2 strength, which is not doing them any good based on their position, right? So for my offensive linemen, Brawler is going to be the way to go, right? For my running backs, for my wide receivers, for my tight ends, for my safeties, Sprinter is going to be the way to go. And as you can see, we've got a lot more Sprinters on the team than we do Brawlers. So for example, Sprinters, you're getting that +2 acceleration boost, and you're not having the drawback of -2 acceleration if you were to use Brawler, right? So for Alvin Kamara, if I'm trying to hit the hole, that +2 acceleration obviously is going to matter, in the sense of it would be worse if it was -2, right? Let's take a look at Alvin Kamara's stats here, and you'll actually see what I'm talking about. So he does get +2 in the acceleration department, as we're going to come over to his attributes here, getting him up to 99, right? So this was at 97 without any chemistry added. If I had -2, that's going to go down a threshold to 95, so I am really suffering in a sense of I could be boosted all the way up as high as I could go to 99, or if I had Brawler on him, I would still get the added speed boost, but I would get the drawback of -2 acceleration, which is not going to be good on this Alvin Kamara card. So that's where I'm saying you keep in mind on who you are putting these chemistries on. Let's take a look at Andrew Norwill here, our left guard, and we'll see how he benefits better from having Brawler rather than Sprinter, right? So because Andrew Norwill has Brawler, and because I have 15 Brawlers, he's going to get that +1 strength. He's not going to be negated if I had Sprinter on him, right? Now, if I had 25 brawlers, he would actually get up to 91, but that's not nearly as important as at least getting him up to that 90 threshold. Guys play different when you go from that 89 to 90 jump rather than the 90 to 91 jump. You really want to hit those 90 to 95 thresholds if at all possible, which is why this was important. If I had Sprinter on him, it would actually go down to 88, so even lower than that 89, but by doing this, I could put Andrew Norwill on my Falcons theme team, meet those thresholds. Once you put lockdown on him, once you put play fake on him, he gets up to 98 pass block, 99 pass block power, and he's already meeting that 95 pass block finesse, right? So this is one of the better pass blocking guards in the game still, and he's been out for a few months, and with just a simple chemistry put on him, getting him up to that strength threshold right there at 90. Yes, there are 95s in the game that you could have that are better options, but with him at least being at that 90 right now, he is definitely being better suited than being at 89 or even worse, 88. So I briefly touched on the thresholds, and while I could add more brawlers on the team to get that +2 strength, it's really in the roster construction that I would look to see if I need to worry about spending, because that's a lot of training to go from 15 brawlers to 25 brawlers when you consider the actual chemistry cost just for one is 750 training. So to have 10 additional brawlers on the team, that's an additional 7,500 training. So you would want to look to see if one additional strength would really benefit your squad before you spent that much on it, right? I know the sprinters, having them maxed out is really making a difference because that gets a lot of my players, a lot of my Falcons players up to that 99 speed threshold, which they play a lot better once they are at that threshold, right? Calvin Ridley goes up to 99 speed. Asante Samuel, Deion Sanders, AJ Terrell, these guys all go up to 99 speed once I have Sprinter fully maxed out, which is why I prioritize that over maxing out my brawlers, right? That just made the most sense. But you want to construct your roster and you want to use this physical chemistry slot based on what your team needs, right? I would never recommend putting Sprinter on my offensive and defensive linemen. That would not make any sense because it is going to have that drawback. So when I answer the question, what is better, Sprinter or Brawler? I think they both have their place on your team, and it is up to you to look at your team and see what you need to see where you need to put your Sprinters, where you need to put your Brawlers, right? I'm going to max out Sprinter most definitely because there are more positions that are going to benefit from that, and then I'm going to add my brawlers in as I go, and I'm going to look for players that would benefit from that additional +1 or +2 strength to add to my team that way. Now, real quick before we go, I do want to actually go in to the physical chemistry slot and just show you how much these cost. So for the ×1 chemistry, it is going to be 750. As you can see, certain players, once they get to certain thresholds, certain overalls, they could actually get ×2 chemistry. So this can help to add to your team if you don't necessarily have the quantity, right? For my offensive line, you noticed I had a lot of golds. Those golds, because they are 79 and lower, cannot benefit. They cannot add a physical chemistry slot. But I can add an additional slot on, say, Bill Fralick or on, say, Lincoln Kennedy because they are above a 93 overall. They can get ×2 chemistry, which would then add to the amount of brawlers that I do have, by not necessarily having to have an additional player that gets that. So I hope that makes sense. In this case, AJ Terrell, as you can see, if I needed it, I could put ×2 Sprinter on him. It is a cost of 2,000 training, so it is a little bit more, obviously, when you consider what the ×1 chemistry is at 750 training, but you can definitely use this to your advantage when you are constructing your roster and when you are putting these chemistries on your team, not necessarily having to go get an additional player, but maybe all you necessarily need to do, if they are a high enough overall, is just come in and get that ×2 chemistry slot to add to the team. Okay, so just a quick recap before we go. Which one is better, Brawler or Sprinter? I like them both. I think they are both viable and both usable on a team. I prioritize my Sprinters because of the speed. As opposed to Brawler, you definitely don't want to put on those corners, on those wide receivers, on those safeties because of that drawback and acceleration, but you definitely want to put them on your O-line. You don't want to have Sprinter on them because with a Sprinter on your O-line or D-line, they are going to get a drawback of -2 strength or -1 strength depending on what tier you're at, so you definitely want to consider that. It all comes down to your team building, to your roster construction, but Sprinter, in my opinion, is going to be the one you want to prioritize most, and then you want to fill in the gaps with Brawlers at those offensive and defensive line positions. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like rating. As always, if you have a comment, a question related to the video, if I did not explain something properly, or if you just want to say what's up, leave that in the comment section down below. I love interacting with each and every one of you down there. And if you'd like to see more content, hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on to stay updated with all of my uploads. I'm imjslayig, signing out today. I'll catch you all on my next video.